My dad just put a gun in my hand when I was 17 at a pigeon shoot up in Nacogdoches. Towards the end of the Calcutta, my dad entered me in the pigeon shoot. I just heard my name and I just froze. I missed one bird the first day and I didn't miss a bird the second day. But that's how I got started. And, you know, once you get a taste like that of the sport and get it kind of in your blood, you're hooked.
Gaye Kelsey is a proud Texas gal, born and raised. A fond tranquility shines in her eyes as she surveys her family ranch, the site of ultimate retreat and bustling family reunions. She reflects fondly on her time as a champion pigeon shooter, a sport that taught her patience and respect, and one that ultimately shaped her passions and goals for the future.
The circuit back then was very, very busy. It was a new sport. Everybody was excited about it. And my dad, he was national trap shot for a number of years and state champion for, golly, I was 18, 20 times, something like that. And then the sport of pigeon shooting came into the States through Spain, and I would just go with them and tag along. And then I started shooting. Of course, they were like payola birds. They would just be thrown right up and sit there and wink at me, you know. So it was pretty easy to pull the trigger. For 1 year, I was international ladies champion.
Her father was a big pigeon shooter, and so she traveled around with him, and then she started trying out herself, and then became a master at it, and still does it, and still usually comes in first.
I call her the conductor. Because one day she was out there and she's going, God, I'm just kind of off. I said, Gaye, you're like a conductor. Look at your rhythm. She just get, and she'll just go pull, and it's like boom, 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 and she never misses. It's crap. She goes, oh, I got my rhythm back. So it's really good. She's very good, fun to watch.
It's coming back. It's coming back. John and I gave our second annual pigeon shoot, and they are hooked. It is a riot.
Gaye and her husband John share a solemn bond with old world hunting and shooting traditions. It's a connection that is ingrained in their lifestyle, even down to the fabric. The two embody a fashion sense that is tangible, embracing rich tradition and modern style. It's a mindset many fashion-forward females are embracing with full force.
You know, there's a point of just, you know, you just don't want to look like a boy all the time. You know, you want your own kind of stamp. It's respect of the game of wildlife shooting from where it came from. It's just a way of paying respect in my mind. It's like being on stage in costume. It's just a hoot. This was an old shooting sweater that my dad gave me when I started shooting live pigeons. This is the TAPA member, TAPA Tiro Alpajon Association. This was 1963 that I was on the Ladies All-American. It's very meaningful. I'm very proud of it.
I told this friend of mine, I said, all I want in life is a lady that would go to England and shoot pheasants with me. And he said, well, you ought to call up Gaye Lovett Davis.
Oh, dear. My baby. And he called, left word, and said, call me. Well, I guess I'm kind of from the old school. I thought, you know, by gosh, if he wants to talk to me, he can call me back. So I didn't call him. And sure enough, one day I'm driving along the freeway and my phone rang and I didn't look at it and just picked it up and said hello. So we started talking and started laughing so hard about different things. I had to pull off in some parking lot you know, Sam's parking lot or something. And we talked on the phone for like 30 minutes. We loved art, we loved dogs, we loved hunting, we loved to travel. And so he wanted to go out that Thursday night. And I said I couldn't, and I could Saturday. So he calls this friend that had set us up, and he told him, said, you got to talk her into, you know, we need to go out on Thursday night and not wait until Saturday. And he said, you don't talk her into many things she doesn't want to do. So John called back and he said, what time Saturday would you like to be picked up? John was standing at my front door ringing the doorbell, and I was on the other side, and neither one of us had a clue as what we looked like or anything about it.
She said, we'll go to Capitol Grill for a drink. Well, that meant several things to me: steaks, martinis, and cigars. So I just, right there, I knew that I had a winner.
And by the time we got to the restaurant, and constant conversation.
So then I said, well, how would you like to go on a safari to Africa? That's a
45 minutes into the first date. So it's real instant love at first sight. And we've just had a wonderful relationship. Great marriage of 4 years, 4.5 years.
She just a real partner. She's such a sweet person, and she addresses everybody so beautifully.
Gaye and John are no doubt cut from the same tweed cloth. Amidst a wealth of shared interests, their greatest love is hunting together.
The fact is that hunting in the last 25 years is completely, I mean, I grew up, it was an all-male sport, and it just isn't anymore. But it's called sharing a peg.
Well, we have more fun doing that because we kid and joke, and, you know, people turn around and look at us, but, you know, we're just having a ball.
From sharing a peg in the field to sharing a passion for protecting our Constitution, Gaye and John are determined to give back to the freedom that has given them so much.
Gaye and I are pretty committed to using our resources to protect the Constitution.
It's the most important thing, I think, for anybody that lives in the United States, because I don't think that without it, I think we would wind up being just numbers and not very proud of ourselves, for one thing. And I'm a very proud Texas gal. And I believe it so deeply that, you know, we have armed forces and they are all over the world protecting us to be able to be free in our own country. They're there for you, but you have to be there for you too. You've got a mom at home with 4 kids, what's she gonna do? You know, she needs to learn how to protect herself and her children. At least I can reach out to some gals that are my age and younger, and they can reach out to their daughters that have children and get them started.
So that's why it's so important for everybody to be familiar with a handgun and understand all the things that go on in protecting yourself.
We're just trying to get people interested in shooting. I had 3 girlfriends come out that I've never seen them have a gun in their hand before. You know, they were a little bit shy, but they just loved it. They really did. And they said, I'm gonna go take some lessons. And I said, go, girl. John and myself were thinking and talking about it, and this new club, which is a beautiful facility, he said, why don't you get a bunch of gals to go over and take a lesson? And I would have to say, I think almost all of them had never picked up a pistol before. And shotguns have always been my thing, or rifles. And so I wanted to see their reactions. I knew what excitement I would have, but I was hoping that they would have the same amount.
I was looking to buy a gun to keep the house for protection. Just when you think maybe that you can't do it, then you see that, you know, everybody's doing it and they really hold your hand and bring you along and help you out.
Most husbands will buy a gun off the rack and give it to the little lady. It doesn't fit her. It just knocks the tar out of her, and she never goes back. But do it right, have it fit, and it will not hurt.
The opportunity to come today and have a lesson and actually be able to handle guns, that made me feel more familiar and less afraid of them.
Gaye came around several years ago, and she is a wonderful addition, and love her to death. She inspires me to do so many things, and I have 3 teenage daughters, so I want to be able to expose them to it and find more time for all of us to learn more about it.
Well, sweet Gaye Kelsey included me in this group. I'm a single mother, and I've often thought I really need to be able to protect myself. To me, that's a big reason why I'm here. And
I think we need to understand that, to be aware of it. We fear what we don't know. And so education and exposure is so important.
It's just amazing. It really is. I'm just so excited that my favorite pastime and passion in my life is now I'm going to have even more common interest with my friends.
Gaye's goal to introduce more women to the shooting sports connects seamlessly with the missions of the NRA Women's Leadership Forum. This group of women is a growing force within the NRA, and they're dedicated to securing our Second Amendment freedoms for future generations.
Well, I was brought into or joined the Women's League 3 years ago, I believe. We all had like interests. We all loved shooting, our country, the American flag, our own state flag. And so this is one venue and one avenue that they can take to try to introduce to other women across the country to spread the word, so to speak. And that's what I'm all about, is trying to help teach and promote women's activities in shooting. Go back and read the whole Second Amendment. You know, you'll understand and get so much pride from it.
As the 2013 co-chair of the NRA Women's Leadership Forum Luncheon and Auction, Gaye knows firsthand the value of grassroots activism and the vigilance it takes to grow a passionate base.
Well, I think it's interesting that we have the convention coming up in May. All ladies talk, and their friends will hear about this, and their grandchildren will hear about it, and their husbands will be amazed. Melanie and I have been both working very hard as well as the home office for NRA.
What's the energy like in that room with all of those women together?
All wanting peace, enthusiasm of bonding, having a common interest with a total stranger across the table. We all have the same common interest. It's our country. So.
Gaye often reminisces about her competition days, the rush of hearing her name called, and exhibiting for all to see what a real female shooter can accomplish. That feeling still hits home now, as she pursues her mission to engage more young women in the shooting sports. She's a mentor, a companion, and a growing voice for women everywhere, calling their name and inviting them to step up to the plate.
And that's why Gaye is working on the women deal, because it's clear that we need to have more women involved.
You know, it's almost like you're starting to find yourself. You're finding your purpose. You're finding a different part of yourself that you really didn't know about. And I think that word will spread. I know I'm going to try to make sure of it.